Okay, this is the National Senior Games being held in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is the age group of 60 to 64 and the skill level 3.5. The date is May 14th, 2022. This is Ray versus Tim in a game to 15. I found this video out in Facebook land. Ray had set up a camera and tripod on the corner of the court and recorded our match. So after watching this match, I have decided about a few things in the future of my singles pickleball tournament playing. The number one thing is that I will not play on a surface like this again. The surface that you see here, it's in a convention center, and it is a concrete floor that is got no texture to it. It's very slick. In fact, there were a lot of injuries this whole tournament from people sliding. Fortunately, I did bring some basketball shoes with me to this tournament, so I did not wear my pickleball court shoes on the surface. I wore basketball shoes, which helped me keep my footing. Again, if I ever find out that prior to the tournament commencing that this is the type of surface, I will not play. The other unfortunate thing is they decided to use an outdoor ball on this surface, which makes the game even more difficult to play because the outdoor ball is heavier, has fewer holes, and you can make it slide right across this surface with a hard low shot. So it makes serve returning very difficult. A nice low hard serve makes it very difficult for the returner. As you can see right there, Ray's having a hard time returning the ball. It's very difficult to return it deep in the court, which you have to be able to do in singles. The other thing that I really need to think about, and I know that most tournaments are like this right now, but the early round matches, you do not get referees. Unfortunately, there's a few points in this match, and I will point them out later, where if I had a referee, I think the outcome of this match would have been different. So as you can see here, I'm playing my typical singles style of play. I go to the kitchen line and I force the other player to try and pass me. And at this point, I've got a 4-2 lead because Ray has been unable to pass me at the kitchen line at this point. And taking over at the kitchen there gives me a 5-2 lead at this point. The other thing that really is not good about this tournament is that they did a random draw. So there are 20 guys in this pool. I know my singles rating is a 3.9. I don't know what Ray's is because we're both listed as 3.5, but I don't know what the extra digits are on his rating. I do know this: he went through this entire field of players and didn't lose a match. He went 5-0. I was the only player that scored 12 points on him. The next highest player that scored points on him in a game to 15 was the silver medalist, who scored 8 points in their first round match in the game to 15. When they got to the gold medal match, the silver medalist lost 11-1, 11-6. Ray beat people 15-2, 15-6. Obviously, his rating is probably pretty high. So the fact that we are playing our very first round match at 8 a.m. in the morning together, two very good players, is a bummer, because one of us drops to the loser bracket, and that is me. Typically in a tournament, the tournament directors seed it so that the higher seed players play the lower seeds first, and that makes for an opportunity for the medal matches to be very high seeded players. Obviously, the medal match in our pool, it went 11-1, 11-6. That's not much of a contest. So at this point, Ray's making a comeback on me. The 5-2 lead I had is now down to 5-4. You can see I still am trying to control all the shots at the kitchen line. So I built another 2-point lead here. So I end up scoring 12 on Ray in this match in the game to 15. I'm the only player who probably led him, though, throughout the whole match like this. And you will see some unfortunate things happen right at the end of the match that may have turned the match in his favor. But without a referee, there's not much you can do about it. But obviously, we're very well matched here, and having a very competitive game and exchanging points for points here. So the lead I had is now evaporated, and we are down to we're at a 6-6 tie score. And here is an unfortunate occurrence that happens because there's no referee. So watch Ray's feet at the kitchen line. Watch the right foot as he strikes this volley. This would have been my point because I am the server. Now, what I teach my students is that when you hit a winner volley at the kitchen line, you stop, you keep your feet still, you look down at your feet. If you fault, you call a fault on yourself. As you can see, Ray never looked down. You'll see me in this match every time I hit a winner at the kitchen line. You'll see me watching my feet. And of course, what I teach is how I play, and what I teach is to keep your feet 6 to 8 inches back from the kitchen line, and that way you don't fault. So I now have a 1-point lead in this match. I'm at 7-6, and you do in a game to 15, you switch sides at 8. So I take control of the kitchen line here, and made a nice move from left court to right court, put the volley away, and now I've got the 8-6 lead at the turn. So one thing you'll notice about my style of play is I like to put pressure on the opponent by going to the kitchen line. So right there is a perfect example of I'm at the kitchen line. I see that he's going to try to hit it to my backhand in the left court. I was able to read the play, step over, and just with soft hands, very softly, block it in the kitchen. He was back, so he didn't have a play on the ball. And right there, the fact that I'm at the kitchen line by the time he needs to make his shot, it forces him to really go hard sideline. And when you're forced to try to go between the player and the sideline, a lot of times you're going to hit it out. And right there, my control of the kitchen line again, I was able to keep him deep in the transition zone with the ball at his feet. And I was able to get the 9th point. So I have a 3-point lead here at 9-6. And he double bounces that one. I was at the kitchen, softly blocked it. He couldn't get there until the second bounce, so that gives me a 10-6 lead at this point. I'm currently 5 points from the victory, and he's currently 9 points from the victory. Right there, I made the classic mistake of gripping my paddle too tight on that block. I blocked it out of bounds. I needed to grip that paddle much softer. He hit a great return. He hit a great serve right there. It hit right on the line. And that's the other thing about these courts is they use plastic tape on the lines. They're not permanently marked or textured courts, so if you actually do hit a line, it'll slide. It'll just slide right off of it. And right there, he nailed a very nice shot down the sideline. He had to squeeze it between my body and the sideline, and he did. It's a very, very nice shot. And now my lead is down to 10-9. And he hits a really good shot right back in the deep corner. There was no way I could get to that. He forced it between my body and the sideline, and he got it again. So that was 2 really good shots in a row he hit there to get the score back tied again. So this is a case where, you know, I'm there in the middle of the court, and he can see me in his peripheral vision there, so he knows he's got to force a hard low shot to the sideline, and he missed it into the net. And here's an example of my third shot drop to his backhand, worked really nicely and set me up for a nice little punch back into his court. And as you can see, when I was near the kitchen line there, I was looking down at my feet, making sure I was good. And I actually was able to hit the sideline with that shot to give myself a 12-10 lead at this point. So I'm 3 from victory at this point, and he is 5. And here's a very crucial moment in the match. If there was a referee here, the referee would have called him for a left foot fault on this volley. This would have been my 13th point. Look at his left foot right there on the kitchen line as he strikes that hard angle volley that I'm never going to get to. And the reason I could never get to that ball is because he had a big advantage in hitting it from that angle by putting his left foot on the kitchen line. So instead of me getting the 13th point, because as you can see, he walks right by the kitchen line after he steps on it. He doesn't stop, look down, call himself, anything. So instead of my 13th point, he gets the side out. And obviously I'm a little rattled here. I hit a deep, too deep of a return. So I hit it out, which lets him right back in the match at 11-12. Here's the other unfortunate thing. You can see that I have actually scored 12 points in this match. In unrefereed matches, the winner takes the score sheet to the score table, and Ray reported my score as 11. It doesn't really matter much at this point, but in the future I will bring my reading glasses to my matches so that I can see the score sheet and know what I'm signing. Because when I signed it, we just said, oh, the score's 15-12, right? Yeah. And I couldn't read it because I didn't have my reading glasses on, so I just initialed it, and it got turned in as 15-12. And really unfortunate that there was no referee to call that foot fault on what would have been my 13th point, and so he just is using that advantage now to, once he got the serve back after that foot fault, he's serving real hard, real deep. Very difficult for me to do anything with. And that's the match. I lose 15-12. The lessons learned.